So this reflection is all about welcome. That much probably was obvious if you've just heard the reading for today. Welcome was mentioned, the word welcome was mentioned about 6 times during the reading. It seems to be all about welcome. But I think a really interesting question to ask is who is being welcomed? Because, you see, it'd be easy for me to reflect on the passage today and to talk about how it's about welcoming the other, how we welcome the stranger in our community, perhaps, how we might welcome someone into our church, how others are welcome in our lives. Now, that is, of course, a really important message. We're called to be a church which welcomes others, and if we're not, then we might as well just go pack up our bags and go home. Because if we're going to grow as a church, if we're going to be the church that God has called us to be, we need to see Jesus in other people and the people who come into our church. And we need to welcome them as if we're welcoming Jesus himself. But as important as that message is, it's not quite what this passage is about. If you have a Bible, have a look at it again, or have another listen to the video of me reading it. What does Jesus say? Whoever welcomes you welcomes me, and whoever welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. See, the person who's been welcomed here is not the one who walks into church nervous and wide-eyed. It's you, it's me, it's us. See, this passage is at the end of Jesus talking to his disciples and sending them out. He's sending them to go and tell others about him, about the good news, about the kingdom of God. And the disciples in this reading, well, they stand for us because Jesus calls us to do the same. And they've been commissioned by Jesus, and he says, I'm sending you out like sheep among wolves. Always never quite the most encouraging thing you want to hear before someone sends you out. You're like sheep, and the wolves are going to rip you apart. But he says that, and he says this at the end, I think, to then encourage them, to tell them something positive, tell them something good that might happen to them. I reckon most of us know what it feels like to be made welcome somewhere, and I think probably most of us know what it means, what it feels like to be not made welcome, to feel unwelcome somewhere. I remember when I was training for ordination, I went a number of different placements and had to go to a number of different places as a part of it. One of my placements was the chaplain, with the chaplain at Durham Constabulary with the police. And on this placement, on a couple of occasions, I attended their force leadership group meetings, which were the longest meetings I've certainly ever been in. Some of the most intimidating as well. 30 or so people around this huge big table. 30 people, much more important than I was. But the thing was, they talked to me and they treated me with respect. They made time to hear what I had to say, unbelievably, and they made me feel welcome. It really put me at ease, gave me confidence in that situation. Another of my placements there was at a church where I was made to feel a bit less welcome than that. I remember going to it for the first time, and me and Susanna sat down in one of the pews, and nobody spoke to us. No one came up to say hi. We haven't seen you here before. In fact, the people in the pew in front of us did talk. They talked to the people in the pew behind us. They talked through us. We felt completely unwelcome and unvalued. And just as an aside, by the way, I reckon if I hadn't been on placement in that church, I would have never come back to it. I would never have returned, which is probably a good reminder for us about how important it is to welcome people well into church. But here, in this passage, that's not the point. The point is how we are welcomed by others, which of course means that we are going to them. They're not coming to us. We are the ones who are being welcomed. We're going out to where they are, and they can choose to welcome us or not. That's what Jesus expects his disciples to be doing. Part of our calling as Christians then is not just to wait for people to come to us, to come to church and to try to welcome them well. No, it's to go out, to go to places where other people are already, to speak of the good news of God there, to share the love of God in our actions, to be a follower of Jesus in that place. Now, if you're anything like me, this pushes you out of your comfort zone. Sounds uncomfortable, sounds nerve-wracking, because it is. After all, there is the possibility that we will not be welcomed. that may happen. Jesus says, if one possibility is they will welcome you, one possibility is they will not. Our actions may be misunderstood, we may not be listened to, we may be ignored or made fun of. It all may get very discouraging. Now, this is why Jesus is talking about welcome there. Because there is this possibility, but there's also the possibility that sometimes, even in the most unlikely places, we may be made welcome. And when that happens, Jesus says, he is made welcome as well. And when Jesus is made welcome, so is the Father. Those who welcome you, they're welcoming me, he says. That really means something. Let's think about that again. When people welcome us, they're welcoming Jesus. We shouldn't overlook this. This act of welcome is actually really important. And to put it simply, it cannot happen if we stay put. If we're going to give the other people the chance of welcoming something of God into their lives, then we are going to have to go out. And no doubt it is hard. Remember what Jesus said about wolves and sheep. But these words are reassuring, I think. Because when we are welcomed, Jesus is welcomed. And you know what that means? That means that Jesus is with us. We don't go alone. Jesus is right there by our side. We're not talking about ploughing our own furrow here, but going out with Jesus. With others as well, often, of course. But Jesus always goes with us, wherever we are. And sometimes we will be welcomed. Maybe God has already been doing something in this person's life, and they just need someone to point out where God is in their life, and we can be that person. Maybe someone needs to have an arm put round their shoulder and a helping hand. Maybe there's something that you're going to discover about God together, about being good news in the world together, and you need to go to that person, and they're going to welcome you when they hear what God can do, and you're going to do it together. Maybe God is calling you simply to go out and have a cup of tea with someone, and they'll offer you a cup of tea. In the Bible reading, Jesus talks about giving a glass of cool water, very important in a hot climate. Maybe it's just a conversation that will make all the difference. But it's about people, we going out and people welcoming us and engaging with us and doing that and inviting us in to do those things and have those conversations and to speak to them and to share with them. They're welcoming us. But if we don't go out, then we will never know and they will never get the chance. If we aren't willing to go out of our comfort zone to speak of God, to speak of his good news, to share his love, then I think we're going to struggle to expect others to take that step of faith, to go out of their comfort zone and come into church. If we're not willing to do it, why do we expect others to do it? And yet this is what God does. He sends people out. He sends Jesus. Steps out of his comfort zone by sending Jesus to earth as a baby. And Jesus sends his disciples and he sends us as well. And as we go out, I reckon it will make us people who are more welcoming ourselves. Because the first step of being a welcoming church is to go out and give people the opportunity to come and to give them the opportunity to welcome us first. The thing is, that I haven't found this a particularly easy reflection to write or an easy reflection to bring to you this morning. Because it's about going out, isn't it? It's about meeting others. It's about others welcoming us. And to be honest, I'm not really sure how we do this in our community at the moment. But as lockdown eases and as life returns to something a little more normal, wouldn't this be a great chance to think about how God is sending us out? Now you say that, again, I don't know what this looks like. But this is about you and me, about us listening to God, about looking around our community, looking at our lives and thinking, where is God calling me to go? What might he be calling me to do and to say? What does good news look like down my street? What does God's love mean in my life or in the lives of those around me? How can I share something of God with others? What am I going to do to step out of my comfort zone? This is a great time to be asking this kind of question and to keep asking them. I encourage you to keep asking these questions, not just when you're listening to this, not just on Tuesday morning this week, but on all the Tuesday mornings to come, or whatever morning you want to keep asking these questions, to keep thinking about them, to keep praying about them, and then to do something when you can. Again, I don't know what this looks like. This might be something we can do together as a church, or it might be something that just you do. Either way, we're in it together. There are people in church who will support you, who will pray for you, who will be with you, who will help you. I certainly will if I can. So if you need to talk about something like this, if you need to talk about what God might be calling you to do, talk to somebody. Share it with them and see what they say and see how they can help you. Because as our churches begin to reopen in the next couple of months, it'd be such a great shame to think that we all go back to church and we all settle down and we're just stuck in there waiting for people to come to us. Rather than this is a great opportunity to go out to do something new and to be welcomed by other people, so that our church might be more welcoming. So that the doors of our church might not be a barrier for people, might not put people off, but might be signs and symbols of welcome. So that the good news of Jesus might be more a part of our lives and of the lives of the people around us. That's what Jesus is sending us out to go and do. And through welcome, through other people's welcome of us, Jesus is doing that in us and in their lives. And the good news and the kingdom of God is becoming more a part of our life and the world around us. That's pretty good. Sounds pretty good to me. Amen.